Cleveland Indians baseball. We're at Cleveland Stadium as the Cleveland Indians take on the New York Yankees in the rubber match of a three-game series. Friday night, Cleveland beat New York 4-0. Sam McDowell won his 25th game of the season. And then yesterday, the Yankees beat the Indians 4-3 in 12 innings. Yesterday was Fritz Peterson against Steve Hargan. The Yankees scored an unearned run in the fourth. And then Buddy Bradford hit a solo home run in the bottom of the fifth to tie the game 1-1. Then in the eighth, let's see who was pitching in the eighth. In the eighth, Rick Austin was in, having relieved Steve Hargan. And Ron Hansen pinch hit for Fritz Peterson and hit a two-run homer to put the Yankees up 3-1. Then in the bottom of the ninth, with 2 outs, Buddy Bradford singled. And then John Lowenstein, who had let's see, Lowenstein had been 0 for 3. In fact, he had struck out 3 times in the game. He hit a 2-run home run to tie the game. So the game went into extra innings. Yankees kept getting runners on base, but the Indians snuffed rallies in the 10th and the 11th inning. In fact, the 11th inning ended with a bases loaded with 1 out, and John Ellis grounded into a third to home to first double play. But then in the 12th inning, Rich Hand made a relief appearance. His bullpen was getting a little depleted. And Horace Clarke led off with a single, but he was caught stealing. Then Frank Baker singled. Danny Cater flew out. Baker stole second, and then Jim Little singled up the middle, driving in the go-ahead run. The Yankees ended up getting out of the inning, leading 4-3. And then Lloyd Colson came in, made his major league debut in the bottom of the 12th. Excuse me. And Eddie Leone led off with a single. Then Ted Ford struck out. Hinton singled. And then Duke Sims singled. So the Indians had the bases loaded with 1 out. And then just like the Yankees did in the 11th, Beta Pinson grounded into a first to home, the first double play to end the game. So the Indians remain in second place. They are 8.5 games behind Baltimore. And Baltimore's magic number for clinching the East is 9. So we'll see what happens. I don't think anybody's figured on the Indians winning the AL East, but a second place finish would really be good. They are in second place, 8.5 behind Baltimore, while New York is in third place. 11 games. 11 games ahead of New York. Or New York's 11 games behind Boston, or behind Baltimore. Oh my God. And Boston's in fourth place, 14 games back. Detroit and Washington have been eliminated. And Boston's magic number to get eliminated is 4. New York's is 7, and Cleveland's is 9. We'll be back in a few minutes with today's game. It's Sunday, September 13th. We're at Cleveland Stadium for today's game between the New York Yankees and the Cleveland Indians. Mel Stottlemyre will start for the Yankees. He's made 34 starts on the year and is 11-12 with an ERA of 4.12. His third start against the Indians, he's 0-1 with a 3.06 ERA against Cleveland. He'll be opposed by Jim Ritwedge for Cleveland. He's made one start on the year and is 1-0 with an ERA of 0.75. This is first start against the Yankees. It's 78 degrees. Wind speed is 7 miles per hour, right to left. This will be game number, excuse me, 147 for Cleveland. This year, the season is quickly approaching its climax. Jim Ritwedge is a Cleveland area native. He grew up in Bedford Heights, Ohio. He was discovered and has been a high prospect who was highly touted by a legendary name in Cleveland baseball. Man who's a native of Bedford, Ohio. That man's being introduced to the crowd right now. He is 94-year-old Elmer Flick. Played for the Cleveland Blues and the Cleveland Naps. Also played for the Philadelphia Phillies. And he jumped to the Philadelphia A's in 1902. The Phillies got an injunction against him, Bill Bernard, and Nap Lajoie. So they weren't able to play in the state of Pennsylvania. So Ban Johnson, who was the founder of the American League, he took those 3 players and he took their contracts away from Philadelphia and assigned them to Cleveland. Mr. Flick played for Cleveland until 1910, and he appeared in 3 World Series with them in 1903, 1906, and 1908. He is one of four men who played Major League Baseball in the 19th century who is still alive. And he is obviously the oldest former member of the Cleveland, now known as the Cleveland Indians. He never actually played in Cleveland Stadium. He played all his games for Cleveland at League Park. Talk a little bit more about Jim Ritwidge in a minute. For the New York Yankees, their starting lineup will be Horace Clarke, the second baseman, leading off. Batting second, the catcher, Thurman Munson. Batting third, the left fielder, Roy White. Batting fourth, the center fielder, Bobby Mercer. Batting fifth, the right fielder, Curt Blefary. Batting sixth, the first baseman, John Ellis. Batting seventh, the shortstop, Frank Baker. Batting eighth, the third baseman, Jerry Kenney. And batting ninth, the pitcher, Mel Stottlemyre. My usual spoiler alert, I see three members of that starting lineup who will become future Cleveland Indians. On defense, Cleveland lines up with Vada Pinson at first, John Lowenstein at second, Lou Camilli at short, Greg Nettles at third, Buddy Bradford in left, Ted Uhlaender in center, Ted Ford in right, Duke Sims catching, and Jim Ritwidge on the mound. Jim Ritwidge has made 3 appearances this year with 1 start. He has a record of 0-1, an ERA of .075. He's pitched 12 innings. He's given up 4 hits, 2 runs. 1 of those was earned. He has walked 8 and struck out 3. The opposing hitters are hitting .111 against him. And he has a whip of exactly 1. His first appearance was against Washington on September 2nd. He pitched 2 innings. Gave up no hits. He walked 3, struck out 1. Then on September 7th against Boston, he pitched 1 inning, walked 1. And then on September 9th, which I believe was Wednesday, he started against Washington. He pitched 9 innings, pitched a complete game, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 of those earned. He walked 4, struck out 2. And he got the win. With Steve Dunning about to leave the team in order to get married and then get started with his military reserve duty, Ritwidge will probably be taking his spot for the rest of the season. Leading off is Horace Clarke. He's hitting .223 with no home runs and 44 runs batted in. Here's the first pitch. It's a fastball. Ball 1. Ball 2. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. It's a grounder down the third base line, but it's foul. This is the first game this season that Eddie Leone is not starting for Cleveland. Fly ball down the left field line, but that'll make the seats. It's grounder to short. Camilli's up with it. Throw to first. 1 out. Here is Thurman Munson, who's hitting .302, 5 home runs, and 52 runs batted in. He's a strong He's a strong candidate for Rookie of the Year this year in the American League. Fouled that off of Sims' mask. Strike one. It's grounder back to the pitcher. Ritwich picks it up. Throws it first. 2 outs. Here is Roy White, who's hitting .303 with 18 home runs and 84 runs batted in. I believe this is the last game this season between the Indians and the Yankees. Yes, after this, Cleveland has a home series against Detroit. Then they have a road trip to Baltimore and Boston. Then their final homestand of the season is against Baltimore. And they finish the season with a 3-game swing to Detroit. So, just for the sake of argument, the Indians are 8.5 games behind Baltimore. They have 6 games to play against Baltimore this year before the season is over. Pops that one up foul. Count is 0-2. It's grounder to third. Nettles. Throw to first. 3 outs. 3 up and 3 down for the Yankees in the first. Nothing across. We go to the bottom of the first. Yankees nothing. Cleveland coming to bat. Cleveland's starting lineup will be John Lowenstein leading off. He's playing second base. Batting second to center fielder Ted Uhlaender. Batting third to first baseman Beta Pinson. Batting fourth to catcher Duke Sims. Batting fifth to third baseman Greg Nettles. Batting sixth to left fielder Buddy Bradford. Batting seventh to right fielder Ted Ford. Batting eighth to shortstop Lou Camilli. Batting ninth to pitcher Jim Ritwich. On defense, the Yankees have John Ellis at first, Horace Clarke at second, Frank Baker at shortstop, Jerry Kenney at third, Roy White in left, Bobby Mercer in center, Kurt Blefary in right, Thurman Munson catching, and Mel Stottlemyre on the mound. Well, Stottlemyre's 11-12 with a 4.12 ERA. He has pitched 258 innings, given up 255 hits, 25 of those home runs. So walked 81. He struck out 148. Opposing hitters are hitting .256 against him. Stottlemyre's been with the Yankees since 1964. He has a career record of 92 and 92. And has 2 saves. He pitched in the 1964 and 1968 World Series. Leading off is John Lowenstein. He's hitting .222 with 1 home run and 2 runs batted in. He hit a home run in the bottom of the ninth yesterday that tied the game and sent it into extra innings. He's a September call-up. He's got into 8 games so far this year. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's base hit in the right field. Bleffery's up with it, and he'll throw it back in. Runner on first, no one out. Here's Ted Uhlaender, who's hitting .301, 14 home runs, and 57 runs batted in. He came over with Greg Nettles in the trade from Minnesota that sent Louis Tiant to the Twins. Uhlaender and Nettles are both having excellent seasons for the Indians, while Tiant is still struggling. Hitting .375 against the Yankees. Ball one. It's a grounder to second. Clark to Baker to Ellis. Double play. It's a 4-6-3 double play. Here is Veda Pinson, who's hitting .272 with 25 home runs and 104 runs batted in. Pinson came to the Indians from the Cardinals in a deal for Jose Cardinal. This is Veda Pinson's first year in the American League, and he has really made the most of it. Doesn't sound like him and his family are all that happy in Cleveland, but he's been playing well for the Indians, although I think it's no big secret that he would rather be playing out on the West Coast. The 2-0 pitch. It's a grounder up the middle. Baker to his left. Has it, and he throws him out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, no one left. We have played 1 in Cleveland, no score. In the second inning for New York, it will be Bobby Mercer, Curt Blefary, and John Ellis. Bobby Mercer's hitting .237, 25 home runs, and 84 runs batted in. Mercer was a part-time player with the Yankees in 1966, and then he spent the 67 and 68 seasons on military duty. He came back full-time last year, got into 155 games, hit .241 with 25 home runs and 79 runs batted in. He's he was said to be a good successor to Mickey Mantle. And I mean, I'm sure even Mercer would be the first to tell you that he's no Mickey Mantle, but he is a rather good ball player for them. It's a 2-1 pitch. It's a slow roller to first. Pinson underhands at the Rit wedge. 1 out. One of the guys who was over talking to Elmer Flick before the game was the Yankees bullpen coach, Jim Hegan, who Indians fans will remember he was their star catcher for a lot of years. When they were at their best in the 40s and 50s, Hegan was the man who was running the pitching staffs. When there were pitchers like Bob Feller and Bob Lemon and Early Wynn, Mike Garcia, Herb Score, Hal Newhouser, Don Massey, Ray Narleski. Jim Hegan was their catcher. And now his son Mike Hegan is playing with the Oakland A's. Here's Kurt Blefary, who's hitting .213, 13 home runs, and 50 runs batted in. The 1-1 pitch. It's fly ball to center. Eulander drifting back, and he's got it near the track. 2 outs. Here is John Ellis, first baseman. He's hitting .222 with 10 home runs and 32 runs batted in. Spoiler alert, he is a future member of the Cleveland Indians. He's hitting .138 against Cleveland. The 3-1 pitch. Base hit into left field. It's first hit for the Yankees today. Here is Frank Baker, who's hitting .250. The home runs, 2 runs batted in. Frank Baker was called up on August 7th. And he has been a utility infielder. Shortstop. This is his rookie year, and I believe this is his first start of the year. Let me double check that. Yeah, it sure looks like that. He is 1 for 2 against Cleveland this year so far. There's curve, inside, ball 1. At the knees, strike 1. Excuse me. At some point, I may have to go to the games announcer today. Apologize for the coughing. Just having trouble kicking this flu. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Too high, gets past Sims. Ellis will take second, and they are ruling a pass ball. Swing and a miss, strike 3. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the second. No score in Cleveland. Bottom of the second for the Indians, it will be Duke Sims, Greg Nettles, and Buddy Bradford. Duke Sims is hitting .264, 20 home runs, and 62 runs batted in. He's filling in full time now for Ray Fosse, who was shut down for the season after breaking his finger. Sims thought he was going to be the regular catcher this year. Got beat out for that job in spring training by Ray Fosse. But then Sims got to play a lot of first base with Tony Horton getting hurt. His time in the outfield when both Roy Foster and Ted Uhlaender were injured. Here's the 3-1 pitch. It's fly ball to right field. Blefary going back to the track. That's gone. Home run number 21 for Duke Sims. That's his fourth against the Yankees. And the Indians take a 1-0 lead. Here is Greg Nettles, who's hitting .234 with 26 home runs and 69 runs batted in. Nettles got off to a very slow start with the bat. And Alvin Dark sat him down very early in the year. Told him, just relax, play your game. You're my third baseman, no matter what you hit. He also had similar conversations with the Indians' other young starting infielders, Jack Heidemann and Eddie Leone. The only veteran for a little while, at least in the Indians' infield, was Tony Horton. Especially after Ken Harrelson broke his ankle in spring training. He's hitting .136 against New York. Pops it up. Clark will take it. 1 out. Here is Buddy Bradford, who he's hitting .214, 12 home runs, and 27 runs batted in. Bradford came over from the White Sox at the trade deadline. The Indians sent pitchers Barry Moore and Bob Miller to the White Sox for Bradford. Bradford's been a good acquisition for the Indians. His batting average is nothing to write home about, but he's showing some good power. He doesn't have a lot of range in the outfield, but he's got a good arm. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Just fly ball down the left field line. White is after it, and he makes a catch. 2 outs. Here is Ted Ford. This is his rookie year. He came over to the Indians in a trade that brought Rich Hand to Cleveland. He's hitting .203, 2 home runs, and 5 runs batted in. He made the Indians' opening day roster after Ken Harrelson got hurt. And he hit a fly ball to right field that Blefary took near the line. And that's 3 outs. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, no one left. We played 2 in Cleveland. It is the Indians 1, the Yankees nothing. For the Yankees in the third, it will be Jerry Kenny, Mel Stottlemyre, and Horace Clarke. Jerry Kenny sitting 186, 5 home runs and 36 runs batted in. Another spoiler, Jerry Kenny is a future member of the Cleveland Indians. Sitting 146 in September, the 1-2 pitch. It's a grounder to second. Pinson made a move for that one as well. Ritwich had a run over from the mound to take Lowenstein's throw. 1 out. Looking over at Elmer Flick, boy, he looks happy seeing the way Ritwich is playing, fielding his position, making the pitches. He's been singing this kid's praises since he was in junior high practically in Bedford Heights, which, for those who don't know, Bedford Heights is an east side suburb of Cleveland. Here is Mel Stottlemyre, who's hitting .247, 2 home runs and 7 runs batted in. He's 22 for 89, not too bad for a pitcher. He's got 3 doubles, 3 triples, and 2 home runs. Grounded into 2 double plays. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Strikeout number 2 for Ritwich. Here's Horace Clarke, who's 0 for 1. He grounded at a shortstop his last time up. It's a grounder to second. Lowenstein's up with it to throw to Pinson. 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. We go to the bottom of the third in Cleveland. It is the Indians 1, the Yankees nothing. For Cleveland in the third, it will be Lou Camilli, Jim Ritwich, and John Lowenstein. Lou Camilli, he was a September call. Well, he actually got called up back in May for about 2 weeks when Jack Heidemann, Larry Brown, and Vern Fuller were all injured. He didn't get into a game, but he was up just in case, like, probably in case, like, an extra inning game or second game of a doubleheader. He got called up again at the beginning of August. He's still looking for his first hit of the year. In his major league career, he's had 50 at bats and he's only had 1 hit. He had an excellent season at Wichita. The last 2 years there, he's hit the ball really well. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Gets a grounder to first. Ellis has it. He'll take it himself. 1 out. Here's Jim Ritwich. He's hitting .667. He is 2 for 3 with a double. He's base hit in center field. He rounds first. It's a third and second, slides. He's safe with a double. That's his second double of the year. Here's John Lowenstein, who's 1 for 1. He singled in the first. Sitting .357 against right-handers. It's a Grounder to first. Ellis up with it. He'll take it there himself. 2 outs. Ritwich takes third. Here's Ted Uhlaender, who's 0 for 1. Grounded into a double play his last time up. Ball 1. Uhlaender, Pinson. Boy, they were a couple of good pickups for the Indians in their outfield. That rookie Roy Foster was having a good year. Indians had a surprisingly good year this year. Next weekend, the NFL starts. And the Browns will be playing in the first Monday Night Football game on ABC against the Jets. Browns and the Jets in my APC universe face each other in Super Bowl III, and the Browns won that game. And then in, let me see, about 4 weeks, the Cleveland Cavaliers. What? Sorry. I'm having trouble with my computer for a minute. Let me take a pause. I don't know what's going on with that. The Cleveland Cavaliers start off there. NBA Odyssey. On October 14th, playing in Buffalo against the Buffalo Braves, another of the 3 expansion teams this year. The Cavs, the Trailblazers, and the Braves will be the newest teams. There was also a Houston expansion team, but they couldn't come up with their entry fee, so they got dropped right away. Here's Uhlaender, 1 for 1 base hit up the middle. Mercer with it. Ritwich scores. It is 2-0 Cleveland. Here's Vada Pinson, who's 0 for 1. He grounded at a shortstop last time up. It's a fly ball to center. Mercer's there, and he's got it. But the Indians get 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. They left 1 on base. We played 3. It's the Indians 2, the Yankees nothing. Mercer made a nice diving catch on that play. That kid's an excellent outfielder. Let's take a look around the league. Top of the 9th in Detroit. Senators lead the Tigers 5-4. That's game 1 of a doubleheader. Mike Epstein hit his 23rd home run of the year for Washington. That is Daryl Knowles against McRae. Bottom of the 2nd at Shea Stadium. Cardinals and Mets tied at 2. Rich Allen of the Cardinals hit his 29th home run. That is Jerry Royce against Gary Gentry. Mets are trying to hold off the Cubs. Mets are 2.5 games ahead of the Cubs. Top of the 3rd in Montreal, the Expos lead the Phillies 3-0. Gary Sutherland hit his third home run of the year for Montreal. That is Woody Fryman against John O'Donohue. John O'Donohue's former member of the Indians. And at the top of the fourth in Baltimore, the Orioles lead the Red Sox 1-0. That is Ray Culp against Dave McNally. Baltimore would really like to wrap up the AL East championship. In the fourth inning for the Yankees, it will be Thurman Munson, Roy White, and Bobby Mercer. Thurman Munson's 0 for 1. He grounded out to the pitcher last time up. The 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. That's the first walk of the game given up by Ritwich. Here is Roy White, who's 0 for 1. He grounded to third last time up. Ball 1. Foul tip. Strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fouls it back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Too low, ball 2. Low and inside, ball 3. Full count. White hits a fly ball to center. Eulander drifting over. He's got it. Munson retreats back to first. 1 out. Here is Bobby Mercer, who's 0 for 1. He grounded to first last time up. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Strike 2 called. Strike 3. He swung and missed at that one. That's strikeout number 3 for Ritwich. Here is Kurt Blefary, who is 0 for 1. He flied to deep center last time up. Blefary, he's one of those guys, he's been around a long time. 27 years old. Yeah, he's with Baltimore from 1965 to 68. Then he went over to Houston last year. And then came over to the Yankees during the offseason in a trade for Joe Pepitone. Pepitone's now with the Cubs, where apparently he's in a much better frame of mind than he was with the Astros. And in fact, he got suspended by Harry Walker in Houston. And he was talking about just jumping the team. But they sold him on waivers to the Cubs. And apparently Leo Durocher's, giving him a lot of space as long as he plays the game hard. And Pepitone is singing Durocher's praises. And Cubs are doing everything they can to win that division. They entered the season. That was their one goal, they got barely beat out by the Mets last year. Here goes Munson. Throw from Sims, no chance. That is stolen base number 6 for Thurman Munson. Fly ball down the left field line. That makes sense. Inside, ball 3. Full count, 2 outs, runner on second. Fly ball down the right field line, but that is foul. Foul ball, third base side. It's fly ball left. Bradford going back near the track. And he's got it. 3 outs, no runs, no hits, no errors. They left 1. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It is the Indians 2, the Yankees nothing. For the Indians in the 4th, it will be Duke Sims, Greg Nettles, and Buddy Bradford. Duke Sims is 1 for 1. He hit a solo home run in the 2nd inning. 1-0 pitch. He hits a base hit in right field. Left referee's up with it. Sims is 2 for 2 today. And here's Greg Nettles, who's 0 for 1. He popped out last time up. Ball 1. Munson made a nice grab on that one. Right down the middle. Strike 1. Pops it up on the infield. Jerry Kenny takes charge. That's 1 out. Here is Buddy Bradford, who's 0 for 1. He flied out down the left field line last time up. Pops it up in the foul ground. Kenny is after it, and he's got it near the bullpen. 2 outs. Here is Ted Ford, who's 0 for 1. He had a shallow fly out down the right field line in the 2nd inning. He tipped that one. Strike 1. Too high. Ball 1. Outside, breaking ball. Ball 2. Too low. Ball 3. 3 balls. 1 strike. 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. It's a liner down the left field line, but that is foul. Fouls it back. Count remains full. Full count. 2 outs. Runner on first. Too low. Ball 4. That's the first walk of the day given up by Stottlemyre. And here is Lou Camilli, who's 0 for 1. Grounded to first his last time up. Ball 1. It's a slow roller down to first. Ellis has it. He'll take it himself. 3 outs. No runs. 1 hit. No errors. 2 left. We played 4 in Cleveland. It is the Indians 2, the Yankees nothing. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Indians. They've left 3 men on base. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Yankees. They've left 2 men on base. Indians got on the board when Duke Sims hit a solo home run down the right field line in the 2nd inning. Then in the 3rd, with 1 out, Jim Ritwaj, the pitcher, doubled. Lowenstein grounded to first, advancing Ritwaj. And then Uhlaender single. Ritwaj scored, and that's where we remain right now, with Cleveland leading 2-0. In the 5th inning for New York, it will be John Ellis, Frank Baker, and Jerry Kenny. Ellis is 1 for 1 today. He has a single. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's a grounder to first. Pinson has it. He'll take it himself. 1 out. Here is Frank Baker, who's 0 for 1. He struck out last time up. The 2-2 pitch. It's a bouncer back to the pitcher. Ritwaj. Throw to first, 2 outs. It's Ritwadge's second assist, and he's had 2 putouts today, so he's been busy in the field. Here is Jerry Kenny, who's 0 for 1. He grounded to second last time up. Hits another grounder to second. Lowenstein up with it. Throw to first. 3 outs. Nothing across for the Yankees in the 5th. We go to the bottom of the 5th. We have an official game here in Cleveland. It is the Indians 2, the Yankees nothing. For Cleveland in the 5th, it will be Jim Ritwadge, John Lowenstein, and Ted Uhlaender. Ritwadge is 1 for 1. He doubled last time up. As a hitter, he is 3 for 4 this year with 2 of those 3 hits were doubles. Here's the 1-2 pitch. He hits a bouncer to first. Ellis has it. He'll take it himself. 1 out. Here is John Lowenstein. He's 1 for 2. He's singled in the first. The 0-1 pitch. Fly ball center field. Mercer going back, and it's gone. Home run number 2 for John Lowenstein. .420 feet, not too bad. I don't know that it would have actually reached the bleachers as was shown in this game. In the area in the center field bleachers that nobody sits in to provide a batter's eye, no one ever hit a fly ball into those center field bleachers. In the entire history of the stadium, fly ball was never hit in there. That's quite a while, going from 1932 to 1993. Here is Ted Uhlaender, who's 1 for 2. He grounded into a double play, and then he singled into third, driving in Ritwadge with the Indians' second run of the game. It's fly ball to right field. Lefty's there, and he's got it. 2 outs. And here's Veda Pinson, who's 0 for 2. With a ground out and a fly out. Sitting .291 against right-handers. He hits a base hit into left center. He's taking a look at second. He's going to throw. He's out. But the Indians get 1 run. 2 hits, no errors. They didn't leave a base runner. We have played 5. It is Cleveland 3, New York nothing. Underway at the Astrodome, second inning. Braves lead the Astros 1-0. For the Yankees in the 6th, it will be Mel Stottlemyre, Horace Clarke, and Thurman Munson. Stottlemyre's 0 for 1. He struck out last time up. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That's strikeout number 4 for Jim Ritwadge. Here is Horace Clarke, who's 0 for 2. Pair of groundouts. Grounded to short and grounded to second. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. Second walk of the day given up by Ritwadge. And here's Thurman Munson, who's 0 for 1. Grounded to the pitcher, and he walked. Inside, ball 1. Ball 2. Pops it up. Foul ground. Nettles after it, but it makes a seams. Throw to first. Clark is back. Munson has a 6-game hitting streak. It's a bouncer to the pitcher. Britwaj. Throw to first. But Munson is safe. Munson beat out that throw. It's a soft bouncer, and he hustled down the line. So the Yankees have runners on first and second, 1 out. And here is Roy White, who's over 2. Ground out and a fly out. Second inning at Wrigley Field. Cubs lead the Pirates 1-0. Fly ball down the right field line, but that is foul. The 0-1 pitch. That was at the knee. Strike 2. Foul tip. No balls, 2 strikes. Fouls it back. Count remains 0-2. 1 out and runners on first and second. Up and in, ball 1. Too high, ball 2. It's bouncer to the pitcher, Ritwaj, to second, to first. Double play. There's a nice 1-4-3 double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Score remains Cleveland 3, New York 0. For Cleveland in the 6th, it will be Duke Sims, Greg Nettles, and Buddy Bradford. Sims is 2 for 2. He had a solo home run in the 2nd and singled in the 4th. The 2-1 pitch. Liner down the right field line, but that is foul. It's a bouncer to second. Clark is up with it. Throw to first. 1 out. Here's Greg Nettles, who's 0 for 2. There's a pair of pop-outs. The 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. Second walk issued by Stottlemyre. And here is Buddy Bradford, who's 0 for 2. Fly out and a pop-out. Inside, ball 1. That hit the corner. Strike 1. Strike 2 called on the changeup. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. First strikeout of the game for Stottlemyre. 2 outs, and that brings up Ted Ford, who is 0 for 1. A fly out and a walk. Too high, ball 1. Too high again, ball 2. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Looked at strike 2. High and outside, ball 3. Ball 4. Third walk of the game given up by Stottlemyre. And that brings up Luke Camilli, who's 0 for 2. He grounded to John Ellis twice today. Too low, ball 1. Ball 2. Camilli's got a good eye at the plate. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Too high, ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. That hit the inside corner. Strike 2. Full count, 2 outs. Pops it up. Baker is there, and he's got it. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 left after a pair of walks. We're going to the 7th inning. It is Cleveland 3, New York nothing. For New York in the 7th, it will be Bobby Mercer, Curt Blefary, and John Ellis. Mercer's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Strikeout number 5 for Ritwich. Here's Curt Blefary, who's 0 for 2. Had a pair of deep flyouts to center field. 1-0 pitch. Base hit into right field. It's the 3rd hit of the game for the Yankees. Here's John Ellis, who's 1 for 2, with a single and a ground out. 2 low, ball 1. Ball 2. Ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Strike 1. That was called a little late. It's a base hit in the left field. Bradford's up with it. Blefary holds at second. Here's Frank Baker, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Swing and a miss, strike 1. 2 low, ball 1. Strike 2. Grounder down the third base line, but that's foul. It's bouncer to first. Pinson, he'll take it himself. 2 outs. Blefary takes third and Ellis takes second. Here's Jerry Kenny, who's 0 for 2. He grounded out to second in the 3rd and in the 5th. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Just below the belt, strike 2. High and outside, ball 1. Too high, ball 2. Just low, ball 3. Full count, 2 outs. Inside, ball 4. That was a tough one, especially after starting out the count 0-2. Here is Mel Stottlemyre, who's 0 for 2 today. Pair of strikeouts. Stottlemyre is one of the better hitting pitchers in baseball. Ball 1. It's fly ball, left field. Bradford going back at the wall, and he's got it. 3 outs, no runs, 2 hits, no errors. They left the bases loaded. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It is Cleveland 3, New York nothing. Take a look around the league again. Final in Detroit, game 1 of a doubleheader. Senators beat the Tigers 5-4. Dick Bosman got the win. He's 12-15, and Mickey Lolich takes the loss. He is 11-15. Top of the 6th in Montreal, the Expos lead the Phillies 3-2. Don Money hit his 17th home run of the year for the Phillies. That is Woody Fryman against Howie Reed. Bottom of the 3rd in Kansas City, the A's and Royals, no score. That is John Blue Moon Odom against Bill Butler. Bottom of the 7th at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. It remains Baltimore 1, Boston nothing. It's Ray Culp against Dave McNally in a pitcher's duel. Bottom of the 3rd at Wrigley Field. Pirates and Cubs tied at 1. It's Bob Moose against Bill Hands. Bottom of the 3rd in Minnesota. Twins lead the White Sox 2-0. Twins are in second place, 2 games behind California. Tony Oliva hit his 21st home run of the year for Minnesota. That's Joe Horland against rookie phenom Bert Blyleven. Blyleven, he's probably in the race with Thurman Munson for Rookie of the Year. And the bottom of the 3rd at the Astrodome, the Braves lead the Astros 1-0. That is Steve Barber against Jack Billingham. Pinch hitting for Jim Ritwaj to lead off the 7th for Cleveland will be Rich Rollins. The Pride of Parma, who came over to the Indians with very little intentions of playing much, knowing that he would be backing up Greg Nettles. And Rollins is working, he said, more as a coach than a player. And the Indians have Dean Chance warming up in the bullpen. Rollins is hitting 150 this year, 3 home runs with 5 runs batted in. As a pinch hitter, he's hitting 176 with 3 home runs and 5 runs batted in. 1-2 pitch, strike 3 called. 1 out. Here's John Lowenstein, who's 2 for 3. Single in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd, and hit a solo home run in the 5th. The 0-2 pitch. It's fly ball to right field. Blefary going back. That's off the wall. Lowenstein rounds second. He's heading for 3rd. Clark's throw to Kenny. And Lowenstein makes it easily. That's his first triple of the year. Here's Ted Uhlaender, who's 1 for 3. He singled in the 3rd, driving in a run. Sitting 304 with 2 homers with men in scoring position. Ball 1. You got a piece of that one. Strike 1. Foul tip, strike 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 outs. Here's Vada Pinson, who's 1 for 3. He singled his last time up. It's a base hit and a Left field. White up with it. Lowenstein scores. It's 4-0 Cleveland. Here's Duke Sims, who's 2 for 3. Hit a solo home run in the second and singled in the fourth. It's a fly ball in the right field. Blefary is under it, and he's got it. Indians get 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. We have played 7. And the Indians 4, the Yankees nothing. Coming in to pitch for Cleveland is Dean Chance. He also came over in the trade with Ted Uhlaender and Greg Nettles. He was having arm trouble last year. Indians took a chance on him, and he's been having a good year for Cleveland. He has a 7-game winning streak right now. He was a Cy Young Award winner in 1964 with the Angels. This is his 35th appearance of the season. He has a record of 11-4 with 1 save. ERA at 3.60. He's pitching 155 innings. Giving up 138 hits. 19 home runs. He's 56 walks and 107 strikeouts. Dean Chance, he's something of a local guy. He's from Wooster, Ohio. Which is in Wayne County. Drove through Wayne County many times on 71 when I was attending Ohio State. While the counties between Cuyahoga and Franklin County, Wayne County is the fastest one to drive through on 71. For the Yankees in the 8th, it will be Horace Clarke, Thurman Munson, and Roy White. Horace Clarke is 0 for 2. A pair of groundouts and a walk. The 0-2 pitch. Hits a bouncer to first. Pinson's up with it. Underhands to Chance. 1 out. Here is Thurman Munson. He's 1 for 2. Ground out, a walk, and an infield single. The 0-2 pitch. He hits a grounder to second. Lowenstein. Throw to first. 2 outs. 8th inning in Baltimore, and the Red Sox have tied the game. It is Red Sox 1, Orioles 1. Here is Roy White, who's 0 for 3. Ground out, a fly out, and grounded into a double play. 3-2 pitch, hits fly ball to right field. Ford going back to the wall. That is gone. Home run. Home run number 19 for Roy White. His 3rd against Cleveland. And the Yankees are on the board. Cleveland leads 4-1. Here's Bobby Mercer, who's 0 for 3. He has a pair of strikeouts. The 2-2 pitch. Hits a grounder to third. Nettles up with it to throw to first. 3 outs. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, no one left. We're going to the bottom of the 8th. It is the Indians 4, the Yankees 1. Fourth inning at Wrigley Field. Pirates lead the Cubs 3-1. For Cleveland in the eighth, it will be Greg Nettles, Buddy Bradford, and Ted Ford. Nettles is 0 for 2 with a walk. The 1-2 pitch. Hits a slow roller to first. Ellis dives, makes a great play, underhands Stottlemyre, covering. What a great play by Ellis. 1 out. Here is Buddy Bradford, who is 0 for 3. A fly out, a pop out, and a strikeout. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing, it was foul tip, but Munson held on. Strike 3. Strikeout number 4 for Stottlemyre. And here is Ted Ford, who's 0 for 1. And a fly out and a pair of walks. The 1-0 pitch. He hits a fly ball to center. Mercer's there, and he's got it. 3 outs. Nothing across for the Indians in the bottom of the 8th. We go to the 9th. Cleveland 4, New York 1. For the Yankees in the 9th, it will be Blefary, Ellis, and Baker. Kurt Blefary is 1 for 3 today. He singled his last time up. The 1-1 pitch. It's pop-up foul territory. Nettles is after it, but it makes the seats. The 1-2 pitch. It's a grounder to short. Camilli, throw to first. Bang, bang play. He's out. Eighth inning at Shea Stadium. Cardinals lead the Mets 4-3. Mets and the Cubs both losing today so far. Here's John Ellis, who's 2 for 3. He has a pair of singles today. Up, they're calling him back in. Jim Little will pinch hit. Jim Little hitting .278, 2 home runs, and 12 runs batted in. As pinch hitter, he's hitting .150. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. First strikeout for Dean Chance, and New York's down to its last out. Here's Frank Baker, who's 0 for 3. Strikeout and a pair of groundouts. The 1-1 pitch. Pops it up. Lowenstein's after it in foul territory. He's got it, and that's the game. Indians 4, Yankees 1. The Indians got 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors. The Yankees had 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. Jim Ritwatch gets the win. He is 2-0. That's his second good start in a row. He pitched 7 innings. He gave up 4 hits, no runs. Walked 3, struck out 5. Dean Chance came in, pitched 2 innings. He gave up 1 hit. That was Roy White's home run. Mel Stottlemyre gets the loss. He's 11-13. He went 8 innings, gave up 9 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He needs 2 home runs off him. He walked 3, struck out Struck out 4. Duke Sims and John Lowenstein each homered for the Indians. Roy White homered for the Yankees. Yankees left 6 men on base. The Indians left 6 men on base. This is odd. It says that the game-winning RBI was from Jim Little. When actually the game-winning RBI was from Ted Uhlaender back in the 3rd. Jim Ritwatch is the star of the game. Game took 2 hours and 37 minutes. Once again, final score. Cleveland 4, New York 1. Cleveland increases their record to 81-66. They have 15 games left to play. If they go 9-6, they'll finish the season with 90 wins. That would be pretty good, because that would be, I believe, you see, last year they went 60 or 61. Last year they won 61 games. 90 wins would be a 29 game increase. That would be pretty good. Last time the Indians had won 90 games, they won 92 games in 1965 and in 1966. 1965, I believe they finished one game out of first place that year, behind Minnesota. And once again, final score was Cleveland 4, New York 1. Hope you enjoyed the game, and thank you for watching.